And now, the LSU Football Fix with Preston Guy, presented by TigerBait, starts now.
And welcome in to your LSU Football Fix. I'm Preston Guy, staff writer at TigerBait.com. Join with me as always each and every Monday, although tonight's a Tuesday, but every Monday at 8 p.m. is publisher at Sports Illustrated LSU Country, Zack, Nagy. Tonight's show is presented to you by Celebrity Theaters. Guys, we've got an absolutely jam-packed show tonight. We're going to talk to you all about LSU's massive win on Clemson. Of course, we're going to talk about that. We're going to try to touch on the burning question of how good was Clemson versus how good was LSU? Was it 58 versus a 65 as Dabo Swinney? I guess it was a little bit of a shot he took, but as he alluded to earlier today, BK had a clapback to that, and there's actually positive national feedback. And I don't know if there has been positive feedback to a BK viral quote since he got hired here. We'll, of course, discuss that. We're going to bring the guy in who asked that question, Chris Marler. He's, of course, a social media manager, reporter for Guarantee Media over there. So he's always a fun guy to talk to. I don't think I've had him on the show yet, but he's always fun. LSU is up to number 3 in the AP poll, number 4 in the coaches. We'll discuss that. Nusmeier, Heisman favorite. We're also going to talk a little bit about the game plan Joe Sloan put out there. I think a lot of people are being critical of Joe Sloan right now. We're going to discuss whether or not the criticism is overblown, underblown, whether he might have done a good job. Anyways, we'll go in depth on all of that. Plus, we'll have plenty of time to get to your comments. Before we dive into that, Zack, how you feeling, man?
Doing good on this end, man. A little under the weather, but, you got to sit back and ride the high of this team. So if y'all see me with a cough drop in my mouth, just ignore it. We'll be sitting here talking a ton of LSU ball, man. A good win for this team. Obviously, Brian Kelly and them snapping a five-week one losing streak. I mean, to get over that hump is significant. So a lot to talk about, man. Really happy for Garrett Nusmeier and the rest of this team to get over the hump, get this win. A lot of ball to talk about on this end.
Zack, you're getting paid to talk about a top 3 program. Bro, you just got to suck it up. It's like one of the things whenever I complain, but there are things to complain about with our job. I think even when we're being mild-mannered with our content, there will be people harassing us. That's part of it. Oh, yeah. But again, whenever I talk about that, I always try to preface this with, but I'm not complaining because we get to talk about sports.
Exactly.
So, that's what I'm saying. Any complaint we have, it's like, you know what? Let's let that one slide. So all your sickness, we're gonna suck that up today, baby. We're gonna suck it up. We're gonna talk some sports. Even in the Death Valley Junior, right? Which, by the way, I just want to say, had LSU not won, that would have been just played over and over and over again. Oh my god. I think I have an invader in my chat, and he doesn't even put the camera on. What are we doing, Scarborough? How's he going to just pop up in the show, put himself in as the boss, and drag himself out without even turning his camera on? He must have had a technical difficulty there. Anywho, so before we dive into it, let's thank our sponsor. We'll get to a wave of comments, and then we'll get down my agenda of goodies, guys. But if you've watched this show or if you've watched it any time in the last 4 years, guys, y'all know our show is presented by Celebrity Theaters with locations in Baton Rouge and Ruston. Remember, they are Louisiana's only locally owned and operated theater. Because of that, you're guaranteed to get better pricing, quality service, a cleaner facility. You're going to get the Dolby Atmos 3D sound system, and you're going to get the oversized leather reclining seats, which are a must. You're going to also have their bar featuring beer, wine, frozen drinks. And they've got the largest arcade in town featuring over 50 games. It's the largest in Baton Rouge, so best you're going to get there. Remember, Monday is Senior Savings Day, Tuesday, Bargain Tuesday, Wednesday, Half Price Arcades and College Night, and Thursday on Thursdays. And of course, they do private events, y'all. So whether it's your corporate event, whether it's your class, whether it is your kid's birthday party, guys, whatever you want to book a bunch of people for, this is just an auto-made fun event, built in, ready to go. Send them an email, events at celebritytheaters.com. I'm sorry, go visit events at celebritytheaters.com to go check them out. Anyways, all righty. Let's get some comments here, shall we? Let's see here. Gary Williams. Well, they won. There were a lot of doubters out there. Darn right.
It was us.
Did.
I mean, if we're going to sit back, we gotta at least,
If I
can dish it, I gotta be able to take it. I sat back and I did not think that LSU was gonna win this week one game. Got over the hump, did it. Got to give them their flowers and take my L for sure. But nonetheless, we're ecstatic to see them win.
Let me throw a perspective out there, though. LSU coming into this season, I mean, this was a roster that looked good but had some areas. And I think it would have been fairly aggressive to come out and say LSU was going to go 12-0. In fact, not one media member picked LSU to go 12-0. So you got to pick LSU to lose some places. And I kept on saying you can convince me LSU will win every single game, okay? So I'm going to give myself this excuse and just say, of the games that were losable, Clemson was the most losable.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Bad matchup on the road, early season where, look, and here's another line. I told people, until Brian Kelly goes out and shows me that he can look good in an opener, I'm going to doubt him. And then he goes out and proves me wrong, which LSU was not flawless against Clemson, as we'll discuss further in this show. But I think anytime you beat a top 5 team on the road, you take that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, dude. I mean, you can look back at it, and this team should have won that game 27-10. I mean, there were mental errors. There was a touchdown taken away. We'll probably get into that in a little bit too. But there were some things in that game that didn't go perfect for LSU. So they didn't play flawless football, but you still get over the hump and you win that week one game. It's hard to not be excited about the trajectory of this program.
Yeah, and I'll say this in my film review I don't want to mislead y'all and make y'all think that I watched every snap of the game, but I watched a lot of key crucial snaps, and particularly early on in the game, I was doing a little bit of film watching. A lot of the mistakes I've noticed were like one guy made the mistake, such as like the Caden Durham 25-yard run. Okay, they get completely stuffed on the left side there. Caden Durham breaks a tackle, right? And Barry Brown just thinks the play's over and stops blocking. He blocks, man. That's a touchdown for Caden Durham there. So a lot of just like one or maybe two guys messing up here or there. And it's stuff that I think they can tighten up, but also credit to Clemson on a lot of these plays. I mean, I'm watching the film, I'm like, that's a really good play that guy made there. Gunnar Ward, he says LSU defense is going to be top 5 with a Heisman quarterback, going to be a special year. I'll say this. There's going to be a lot of good teams LSU faces, but that looks like a top 5 defense. Maybe it gets brought down a little bit because, it's such a tough schedule this year. But I think that ultimately, yes, this is as good a defense as anybody. Fire 3449 says, hit the like button, guys. Hey, not a robot tonight. He didn't beat the show out with it, but still appreciate his support coming out, even if it's 7 minutes into the show instead of his normal 7 minutes before the show. Big Stat Kelly, what up, BFFs? How are we feeling? Told y'all, hey, look, didn't we talk about that on our show last week? And I think we all went with Durham, by the way. It's like, yeah, Durham will score the first touchdown. We nailed that, man. So we picked the loss, but that's the only thing we got wrong last week. Let's see here. Okay, that's good on the comments. I also want to mention tonight, we're going to talk about what we're looking for in this Louisiana Tech matchup. I don't want to sit here and beat the bush too hard and try to, evaluate the Louisiana Tech matchup. But, whenever you get a win like this, there are some things you get to look for to depth of your team, some things you need to work on and establish. Maybe you want to see how you perform against a lesser opponent in certain areas, and that's what we will eventually get to here. All right, I think we have Chris Marler here. Chris, all right, he's ready to go. We're going to bring him up. He asked a very funny question today.
The $1 million question. I mean, are you kidding me?
The million view question is what you meant to say, because I'm pretty sure that's gotten over 1 million views. It got an ESPN push notification. If y'all missed it today, Bryce Kuhn of On3, who's I think we all know him pretty well, he posted a clip of Dabo Swinney grading LSU of 58 and LSU is 65. Chris Marler at the press conference saw that clip and asks him, Chris, tell us what you asked BK today.
First off, I thought it was AI. I was like, there's no way that Dabo is this stupid. Like, there's just no way. There's just no way he could have said something that stupid. Then I look back at all the other stuff he said. And I'm like, there's a chance that he said something that's stupid. And so I asked him, and I was like, I messaged Bryce before, and I was like, is this a real quote? He's like, 1,000%. 1,000%. I pulled it from the press conference. and so then I asked him, I was like, I was reading it from my phone. I was like, listen, Dabo compared this to like taking a final on the first day. Not that bad. But he gave your grade. It was LSU got a 65. We got a 58. Neither team played good. And I watched that game just like all of you guys. And I don't think I watched it with the same purple colored glasses, maybe even as some people from Baton Rouge. Like, I just moved here. Like, I felt like I watched it though and got the same takeaways. That game was never as close as it was on the scoreboard. LSU dominated that game for not just the second half. I thought for most of the game. And like, you look at halftime, and it was shocking to see with the score that it was, because I mean, they dominated Clemson in their own house, and that's a place they don't lose a lot. And I just was shocked that Dabo said it. I might have been more shocked that Kelly gave the honest answer that he gave. I'm glad he did. It was really funny and really transparent and honest. But yeah, I was surprised.
Well, that was my thing, dude. Like, seeing Brian Kelly come out and make that comment. I mean, nobody gets to see the banter that he has. Obviously, his humor is different. Like, not everybody gets to kind of get that side of him all the time. He always kind of has those one-liners post-press conference. So for him to do it during the press conference was awesome. And you're starting to see social media kind of react accordingly and say people like thinking they're starting to like him now for those kind of haters out there for him. So it was solid.
It's also something too, real quick, Preston. Like, you guys know who my boss is. And my whole thought was like, if Moscona, if I ask this question to Brian Kelly and Brian Kelly just craps on it and is like, I'm not answering that. That's stupid. It's a waste of a question. Then I'm just going to sit there the rest of the press conference and be like, oh my God, why did I do that? And then I'm going to probably get scolded. But thank God it didn't happen.
And look, I'm going to just play this clip for you real quick. And this is a really good clip here because Bussin' with the Boys, it's big, obviously one of the bigger podcasts going out there right now. This is national, no LSU affiliation, but look at the commentary with this. And this is all of the internet. Brian Kelly just bodied Dabo Swinney in a presser. Zack, am I wrong? Since Brian Kelly got hired, has there been any soundbite of his that's gone positive for like a good reason? Like, he's gone viral for dancing with a recruit that Alabama signed. He's gone viral for family, but nothing like good like this, right?
No, exactly, man. Like, that's the thing. Like, that's why it's such a polar opposite effect is what we're seeing. Is like, you're starting to have people who dislike Brian Kelly sit back and say, if he keeps this up and keeps this kind of energy, they're going to start to like him. So, yeah, I mean, it's a shift in energy, of course. I haven't seen him act that way at all. So I think it was a really good change of scenery. And, yeah, you're starting to see social media take it and run for sure.
The vibes have changed. I'm going to play the clip. It will be 33 seconds so y'all kind of know exactly what we're talking about, and we'll dive
It's like getting the final
in.
exam day one of class. They made a 65. We made a 58. Neither one of us were great.
We dominated him in the second half. So he's either a really good grader for, giving himself a 58, or he's a really hard grader on us, or he didn't see the second half, which that might be the case. He might not have wanted to see the second half. So, again, look, this is all like.
Look, BK has such a dry sense of humor, man. It has been gone over people's heads every single, and they're usually not good jokes. I thought that one was pretty well, but I guess it just kind of the reaction to it just shows a vibe shift for this team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, anyways, just thought that was a fun moment. Wanted to talk to Chris about that. I think we're all on the same page that just kind of caught us all a little off guard there, man. But, who else got bodied this weekend? It wasn't just Dabo Swinney and a presser. Chris Marler, for those of y'all who don't know, he has Bama ties. He does.
It's not my fault. It's not like this is one of my many flaws, Preston. It's not like I just grew up in a house full of them.
Well, you have great ones like taste in dogs, place of where you choose to live. And when I say taste in dogs, like dogs you like, not like eating dogs. I saw your face there. Right. Of course. Bama ties. I know that gets confused a little bit, but anyways, so I believe your role is Bama apologist. That's your title, right? Anyways,
totally,
all right. Anyways,
totally. I never objected about him at all. I just was wrong this one time.
If y'all watch the show, I said before the season I wasn't super high on Bama. Didn't believe in post-saving Bama, and Chris, of course, sent thousands of Alabama fans.
I didn't know. They found you on your own. I didn't send anybody. I didn't send anybody to you.
I was getting flooded, bro. You were getting flooded with.
So here's the thing: there's nothing else for them to talk about. Again, I have this podcast. I have our podcast. We just moved in a new house. Again, who my boss is. I had no time to be like, hey guys, go be mean to Preston online.
No. You don't understand. You sent the algorithm after me.
Oh, I'm pretty powerful.
You sent the algorithm after me. So let me explain. So Carter Bryant, I went on his show. Of course, Carter Bryant chops up a clip and he kind of combines three different sentiments from the show of me trashing on Bama and layers in me beating on my chest about I think LSU is going to host a playoff game, which by the way looks like a very lukewarm take at this point. I said 10-2 for LSU, and that's good enough in the SEC to host a playoff game most years. Anyways, I'm not saying LSU was getting the bye. I'm just saying they were going to host a playoff game. But anyways, Bama fans did not like the way that was spliced up. But the first one to comment was Chris Marley. This is my surprised face.
You guys hate Alabama.
I mean, I don't hate anybody, Chris. I love football. What are you talking about,
Preston? Listen,
I don't hate Alabama.
I don't think that what you said was egregious. I wasn't shocked by what you said. And then what Carter also said was I didn't realize that he spliced up the thing. I didn't realize he spliced up the thing.
That wasn't one sentence I read out. No.
Right. And so the way it came off, I was like, that's it. I maintain this at LSU all the time. And I think LSU is a really good team. I thought they were going to beat him in 23. I thought they were going to beat him in 19. I thought they were going to beat him another one of those years, I believe. It might have been last year. Every single time this has happened, I have been in the camp. I'm like, there's no way they're going to stop Jaden Daniels. There's they don't have a good enough quarterback. All those things. Not being a dick, but every time that's happened, it's been wrong. And last year it was wrong by a lot. It was wrong by a lot.
It was wrong by a lot.
LSU fans kind of crap on Bama, where I'm like, okay, but I feel like I hear this every year, and it's if we're being realistic, they're 2-12 in the last 14 games against them. That has nothing to do with this year, but I would probably wait until week 1 to say it.
Is that what the 2-12 meant? I thought
you better hope.
I thought it was Florida State's record in their last 14.
That was good. You better hope that. You better hope that in November happens, because again, my boss got on a damn white horse yesterday and dressed up like Chief Osceola. So it's I fully get the wrath, and Bama fans are the worst. Everyone knows that. But
hold up. I have a hot take on that. Can I interject? Bama fans on the internet are the worst. When you meet a Bama fan in person, they're awesome. Always awesome in person.
You never said that to me.
Well, that's because you've never been awesome. You hid fruit roll-ups from me today. You withhold fruit roll-ups from me, and you owe me a drink still. So you're very far in debt right now.
That's fair. I mean, I think that you would have said it either way, and if they won. This isn't even worth going down that road, because not only they lose, they lost badly. They're a bad football team right now. They're a bad football. The most basic stuff. It was comical to watch. It was hey, what if we just start? What's the first thing you got to do before the ball snapped? Get the play in. Couldn't do that right. Couldn't do that right. Players looking at the sideline over and over. It was embarrassing. They're bad.
Here's the problem: is they got bullied.
Yeah,
that's how they lost. It's not the score. It's not really who they lost to. It's that they got beat up. You do not beat up Alabama. That's not something that will ever be okay.
Because Vandy did it last year, and so did Oklahoma. Like people think that Vandy game was a fluke because it's Vandy. Vandy lined up.
Jalen Milroe also had 3 turnovers though against Oklahoma. You know what I mean? It wasn't Vandy, like I guess I get what you're saying, but I think that was more than just a hard beat down. You know what I mean? So, anyways, I didn't believe in Bama, and by the way, my disbelief in Bama did not sink to this depth. So I don't want to say like I called it. I thought Bama was like 9-3 or so this year, and by the way, it's a manageable schedule. That's a great. No, they're not 9-3 now. I'm not saying that now.
That's not happening.
Not at this point. No, I didn't have them losing to 2-10 Florida State with Boston College
1-0 Florida State. Thank you.
Okay, but we're going off of it's a team that won 2 games last year. Now I guess they lost to JU.
The saddest part, Preston, if you're watching that, is like anybody with Bama ties. Because I had my friends that text me, like, "What do you think about this?" And I'm like, "If you want my honest opinion, the game's over. Like the game's over. It's 24-7. There's no part of this team that I'm looking at and I see Kalen DeBoer and I'm like Nick Saban got down a bunch. Remember, hand up Marler. So Nick Saban got down. Remember the Ole Miss? They lost to him 2 years in a row, and then they played him again, and they were down 24-3. If you watch that game, you're like, well, they'll come back. They'll figure out a way to get back in it at least. There's no part of that with DeBoer because it would take halftime adjustments. It would take making coaching adjustments. Nothing changes. Like, if anything, it gets worse.
Zach's in the middle, like, come on, guys. Zach, I appreciate you for being the grown-up in the room with 2 very immature guys beefing right here.
Nah, man, we gotta talk LSU, man. LSU's coming off of a top 5 Clemson win, and we're talking Bama.
We definitely do have to. Well, hold up now. Okay, I will argue that in this city, okay, and look, Brad David backing me up here. If you don't hate Alabama after 2011, you're not a real fan. I will sit on my high horse and argue that's the most painful loss of any sporting team ever. Don't come at me if there's any Saints fans. 2011, that's 21-0.
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
Smile back there.
He said,
Yeah, 21-0. Yeah, that's the year. Anyways,
best team to never win a championship.
Here's the deal.
This
is an LSU first town and then a Bama hate second town. So look, rooting against Bama and talking against Bama is like the second team in this city. So I'm fine with talking about that. But anyways, I think we've had our fun with that. I think we're going to let Chris pop out of here. Appreciate you for joining us tonight. But good question today, man. I appreciate you popping in and having a little bit of fun with us.
Please don't make fun of me when I leave. I respect you both.
I'm glad you asked, dude, because I feel like if you didn't, nobody else would have. So somebody's
you're the only reporter sassy enough to ask that.
I hate the way Preston keeps phrasing it this way, and he's like, "You're the only reporter sassy enough to ask that." That is not a good. I can't put that on the resume. As you drink out of a straw.
Yes, you can.
I gotta go. Yeah. Love you.
All right. Bye, sassy Chris. Anyways,
I use savvy. I feel like he asked a savvy question. Like, nobody else is gonna ask it.
It was good. A lot of times, though, you definitely want to be a part as a reporter and ask the tough, hard-hitting questions. But also there's a part of it, like, get them to say something interesting. You know what I mean? That's part of it. And that was exactly what he did there. So anyways, count the buddy. Now that Chris is gone, he is lame.
He's so funny, man. He is so
I enjoy Chris. I do enjoy Chris. I enjoy bantering with him. He's always got something interesting. I knew he would be fun to have up in here. With that being said, let's get to an ad break, and then I will roll down my agenda of items to get to. We'll have some fun talking about LSU and what they've won, what we're looking forward to. Sloan's game plan. I have a lot of examples of things from Sloan's game plan this weekend that I would love to discuss. But before we discuss that, let's talk a little bit about Struby's, guys. Struby's is, of course, located in downtown Baton Rouge. And, guys, Struby's prides themselves on providing a 5-star dining experience for a reasonable price. They're located on 107 3rd Street. They're locally owned with ownership in the building every day, taking a level of pride in the food and service you're not going to just see from any old corporate establishment. They feature a full menu of specialty meats, including USDA Prime Black Angus steaks, 100% certified Wagyu New York strip. And for those of you looking for something outside of red meat, they offer items such as the dry-aged pork chop, black truffle lobster pasta, redfish, and plenty more. Book your reservation online at Strubies.com. Make sure to let them know that TigerBait sent you in, guys. Let's see here. And look, if y'all like this new studio that I find myself in, and I haven't finished decorating it up and soundproofing it and all that jazz, I'm just kind of, making do right now. But the lighting in the room, guys, looks incredible. That is because we went with the official electrical company of the LSU Fighting Tigers, Dykes Electrical. Dykes Electrical is the official company of TigerBait.com. Don't y'all forget that. No matter how big or small your electrical needs may be, Dykes is wired for success. Need a new studio for your growing podcast on TigerBait.com? They can wire that. Need a new 10-story office building? They can wire that. 200 square foot warehouse? They can wire that. Expanding your existing commercial building? They can wire that. Changing out a breaker, whole electrical panel, or just a receptacle in your home office? They can wire that. Upgrading the old lighting in your home or office? They can wire that. Give them a call today at 225-216-9180 for a free estimate on your project. And make sure to let them know TigerBait sent you in. Alrighty. And guys, I got to talk to y'all about our apparel sponsor tonight. That is Alumni Hall. Guys, get ready for the home opener in style with all the good Nike polos, Peter Millar, whatever you're looking for gear-wise. They've got all your officially licensed LSU gear. It's your absolute blessed place to get it. Johnny O, Arnold Reserve, Peter Millar, Southern Tide, hats, Yetis, gifts, accessories, novelty items, whatever it is, dress in style for game one in style. They also have brand new Nike Pegasus shoes. They've got LSU jerseys, including Jaden Daniels branded jerseys. Go give them a try at Alumni Hall in Perkins Row or alumnihall.com. You can use the promo code TigerBait, all one word TigerBait. You're going to get 10% off of any purchase. So go shop with our friends at Alumni Hall and use the code TigerBait to prove that, you save money and prove that their dollars are well spent sponsoring local journalism of TigerBait.com. Alrighty. Some of you guys are young. I've hated Alabama since Bear and Charlie Mack. All right, see, I had a sneaky feeling they wouldn't mind talking crap on Alabama. I really, really, really didn't think they would mind. Let's see. In 2011, Bama had no business being in the championship game. ESPN allowed Saban to sit set for 12 hours pleading his case. Look, I'm not going to talk about whether Bama belonged in that game or not because I feel like we already talked about that 2011 season ad nauseum with Van Lathan a couple weeks ago. But I will tell you that Bama banter should always be welcome here. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the LA Tech matchup, okay? And I've got a few things written in here. So their quarterback, Trey Kukic, he ran the ball 16 times for 44 yards against Southeastern last week in a 24-0 win, okay? Why is that relevant? Well, I think this is a great warm-up for the mobile quarterbacks that LSU is going to face this year. Of course, they got DJ Lagway in Tiger Stadium the next week, and they've got Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe Jr., Ty Simpson coming down the road. So a lot of guys who like to move around. Lenora Sellers, who is, he's probably the most athletic of any of those guys. If you watched his game this weekend, he was elite. So I think this is great dress rehearsal for stopping a running quarterback against Kukic. Zach, do you have anything in particular you're looking for in this Louisiana Tech matchup?
Yeah, I think it's given opportunities to your rotation. We know that there are position battles brewing in a bunch of different spots. Left guard is still kind of up in the air a little bit. Try to get some guys like Patrick Payton and Gabe Relaford are still quote-unquote battling right there. Cornerback rotation as well, you're still trying to identify. So I think this is an opportunity to let a lot of guys get on the field. This is one where your true freshmen get a ton of play. So for me, letting CJ Jim Coyley get on the field, maybe
yeah.
some Charles Ross action, players like that. So for me, look, you get 4 games as a true freshman, or really any year, just to try to redshirt. You get to play in 4 regular season games. So I think that this is going to be one where you can sit back and utilize it for your young guys. Let Harlem Berry eat. Let maybe Kylan Billiot, who redshirted last year, give him an opportunity to play at the receiver position. See what Chris Hilton's made of in a regular season game that might, quote unquote, matter. I know it doesn't matter because you're going to be up, but don't you want to see Chris Hilton eat in a kind of regular season early game?
Dude, I don't care if it's Louisiana Tech. I want to see him eat in a regular season.
It's just an opportunity. We know it's an inferior opponent. It goes without saying. So for me, it's just an opportunity to see what your rotation's all about. Let Michael Van Buren get his feet wet in a game in the LSU system. Just an opportunity for some other guys to get on the field and make an impact. You know your heavy hitters. You know your true starters. But there's still some position battles brewing. This is an opportunity for those guys to go out there, make an impact, and start to kind of cruise up that depth chart a little bit more.
Yeah, the young guys you just named, by the way, they really excite me. How about Carius Kern?
Yeah, I mean, when you're talking about position battles, it really starts with a guy like Carius Kern up front. We know that left guard spot, you got Cohen Eccles and Paul Mabanga kind of battling a little bit. DJ Chester going in for Tyree Adams. What do you think about that? I mean, I didn't see him take one rep at left tackle all of fall camp, and then they kind of just throw him in the mix right there. So I thought that was a little bit interesting. This could be an opportunity really for Carius Kern to get in the mix and showcase what he's about, whether it's left or right tackle. I want to see him play guard, so maybe they'll let him get in there a little bit at guard. So definitely some position battles that you can try to finalize in this one.
Clearly, to me, they currently have DJ Chester as your 6th man at every position, right? Which is fine. You understand the experience, but he did look good at left tackle, in my opinion. Now, I'm trying to be fully transparent and say I didn't go and break down every single film. I didn't do a true film review, but the snaps I watched on the first time, I mean, he got whooped out there on a couple plays that I saw, and I am just not super excited about what we saw at him at tackle. I would really like him to focus in on one position and really learn his craft at that. We're still talking about a younger player, even though he's the veteran on this team. We're still talking about a 3rd-year guy. So let's let him learn a position because he's struggled, and I think the movement around is hurting his development a good bit. And generally speaking, I'd also like to point out that Clemson's front 7 did give LSU's offensive line fits in this game. There's quite a few plays on that 3rd and 11 draw, which is a bit infamous in my opinion because, they called a draw and had to punt from the 40-yard line instead of going for 5 more yards on a pass. There was actually a wide open lane there. It's just TJ Parker. Tyree Adams couldn't get his helmet on the right side of TJ Parker, and TJ Parker made an outstanding play to jump back inside and recognize it. And that's part of the reason why I think Clemson's still an elite team. So I'm saying it's just one guy that needed to get his helmet on the right side, and you have a big lane for a big run there. And that's what I'm hoping with this front 7 is it continues to be 1 or 2 guys. And you can easily polish that out and eventually get there. And that's what I'm going to be looking against Louisiana Tech is, can your front 7 dominate a less talented front 7 than Clemson's? Because Clemson's was still very good. I mean, and again, making instinctive plays, not just out there playing undisciplined ball and using their talent. No, we're talking about savvy plays. So I continue to believe, and the more I watch the film, the more I'm like, dang, this was no 65-58 matchup. Okay. This was best on best, really good players on both sides of the ball. A lot of these plays I'm looking for Klubnik, he had no option. He had nowhere to go with the ball. That blitz from PJ Woodland on the sack. That
was ridiculous. Watching him fly through the B gap and go get a sack. I mean, he was absolutely confused. And he talked about that post game. That was something that Cade talked about a lot, was really Blake Baker in this defense disguising things extremely well. He said that he saw a lot of disguise and whatnot from his personnel during practice leading up to it, but nothing like what he saw on Saturday against LSU. So I think it's a testament to Blake Baker, but you're also having guys fly around, like utilizing your personnel. We've talked about time and time again. We know what Blake Baker wants to do. He didn't get to do it in 2024 because he didn't have the personnel. Now you go in the portal, add some guys, see guys like PJ Woodland take that next step, and now you're really getting an opportunity to see what Blake Baker is all about. So, yeah, man, you're seeing this team step up in just so many different ways.
So what I'm bringing up about this play, though, is so the response to a PJ Woodland blitz, whenever you have a blitzing player, you want to throw the ball right to where he was. The problem was the receiver's running a drag route across the middle. PJ Woodland doesn't telegraph the play. It's a perfectly timed blitz, and Cabe Klubnik can't make a hot route. If he had a quick curl there set up, that's a first down for Clemson, right? With a safety over the top to make tackle and stop the play, but it is easy yardage because you blitzed your corner, right? Problem is Whit Weeks had that in center zone on the drag route. If he had thrown that, his receiver would have gotten knocked into Texas, okay? So it's just a chess match that Blake Baker, he thought there was going to be an interior route of some sort called, and he called a perfect game. And the only option that he had was his far right side receiver coming in on was effectively a dig route. Effectively, it was and he doesn't. By the time that receiver's open, makes his break, he's sacked. He's on the ground. That's good football, and there was a lot of good football where Clemson did just fine. LSU just played better. So that's going to give me big hope. Let's get to a few comments here, and we'll shift on to the fallout from the game here. Let's see here. Chris Slim, I'd like to see the receivers catch a couple more passes, hopefully keep building on the run game, see the line get better, gel before Florida. Those are all real good keys for the LA Tech game. Stephen Miller, certified ball knower, in the comment section tonight. He watched SLU and Tech Saturday night. It was a snooze fest, 3-0 at halftime. Well, be it as it may, I was a little surprised that LA Tech only won 24-0, but I wonder if NIL is kind of closing the gap, between that G5 and FCS. You know what I mean?
I do. And I think it's a fair point.
Let's see here. I'd love to see some of our backups quarterback get keys to the car against LA Tech early. Yeah, I would like to see that, especially if someone can give you hope. But I'm going to tell you this, in terms of this team and this year, I don't know that. I mean, unless we're talking about a couple game stretch where they get you through. I mean, I think if Nusmeier's out, this team's championship hopes are dashed. Are you still on that bus with me?
Yeah, I think if Nusmeier goes down, you don't win more than 6 or 7 games. You need to keep him healthy. And I know a lot of people want to sit back and say, play Van Buren for the most part in this one, allow your backup to kind of get some big time reps. And I completely understand that perspective, but you want to keep Nusmeier in the game. You want to develop rapport and keep it going prior to SEC play. I think this is a really good opportunity for him to continue to sharpen the skill set with the receivers, namely Chris Hilton. I'm going to continue to push this Chris Hilton agenda because I want to see him get on the field and make big time plays. Yeah. So for me, I know a lot of people are going to want to see Van Buren play, but for me personally, I want to see Nusmeier stay on the field for at least 3.5 quarters and really continue to develop rapport with his receivers.
Yeah, for sure. I'm with you on that. And I'm going to say I want to see the backup quarterbacks get in the game early, but for a different reason. By the way, Target Mark comments quite often, and he really does know good football, guys. Because I don't want frickin' Nusmeier taking hits. Like keep that guy healthy because he is the key to your special season this year. And like I told y'all in the prediction show, someone asked me what it means if LSU beats Clemson. It means buckle up, baby. Buckle up because I think the special season is on. Fire3449 actually asked a very good comment here that actually leads me into another segment I have planned here, where I'm going to go through, talk about Sloan's game plan. Preston, Z. Thomas was getting handoffs from the running back. Was that the biggest surprise on Saturday? Was it the biggest surprise?
He got a lot of reps fall camp. I think. Yeah. The biggest surprise for me was how from a reps perspective, how much Juwan Johnson got.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a real good one.
Xavier Thomas did get some big time play.
Does the lack of Chris Hilton action merit a surprise? It kind of surprises me.
Yeah, I was a little surprised to see.
But I think if you knew the numbers game that LSU had going into this game, there's too many mouths to feed. You kind of know like guys are going to have games where they just are absent because there's so many talented players on this offense. Now, Jawan Johnson getting as much action as he did, yeah, that caught me off guard. No, I'm gonna tell you what really the biggest surprise was, just how damn good that defense was. Not good, elite. Man, that feels like a championship defense. It really does. I don't want to go full Colin Cowherd here and overreact, but even 3 plays into the game, I was like, whoa.
That's my thing. Like, I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment. I know it's easy to sit back and, hype them up as much as possible and do this and that. Mansour Delane was sensational. Patrick Payton was all over the place. For me, Gabriel Relaford kind of got a lack of snaps that surprised me a little bit. But nonetheless, when you have a rotation that's that elite, Patrick Payton was eating. You got to keep him in there. He's been in those big-time games. Just defensively, seeing your kind of that ROI. I was talking to my dad earlier and telling him really getting your ROI on these transfers is so important, that return on investment. And you're seeing it from these newcomers, specifically Delane, Patrick Payton, et cetera. So, look, they look fantastic. I think that's definitely the surprise of the weekend. But nonetheless, there are definitely a couple other ones to hone in on as well.
How about this one for a surprise? 0 snaps for Ashton Stamps.
So Brian Kelly was asked about that today during his press conference, and he was kind of just saying, he didn't necessarily throw Ashton under the bus, but he said that we're going to play the players that give us that put us in the best position to win games. So It's not like he was a healthy scratch. It's not like he was a scratch kind of anything. It seemed like a healthy scratch. It's a guy that they did not want to be in there.
DJ Pickett got in the game ahead of him.
DJ got a ton of reps, and you kind of saw that 3-man rotation of Mansour Delane, DJ Pickett, and, of course, PJ Woodland. So those were the 3 that you rolled with. It seems like Ashton is your 4th or 5th best corner on the roster right now.
If I had told people watching this show that DJ Pickett did not play, 75% of you would believe me. 75% would be like, oh, yeah, he didn't play because he was just that quiet. And that's a good thing when you're playing corner. You don't, especially a freshman corner, if you're covering your guy and the ball's never going your way, you're doing a good job. It's like being the long snapper, right? So all that to say, a greater point, do you remember 2 years ago the hype Matt House threw around true freshman Ashton Stamps and how much he was impressing people on that defense? And obviously that defense turned out to be historically awful. But
did he not ultimately get the start at Bama that year?
He started multiple games. I know that.
David Viano as well in that game too. Obviously the defense was historically bad, but nonetheless, you're still putting a lot of trust in a true freshman in Ashton Stamps.
We're talking about a guy who has formerly been a major contributor to your defense, and he's not even playing. That's the level of talent LSU's upgraded. Is you have this guy who 2 years ago was a major contributor to your defense. He's added 2 years of veteran experience and genuinely improved as a player. And he's now not good enough to be on the field. That's it. That's all I'll say on that. Anyways, why that comment leads me to a good segment. Zach, before I go too deep into my dive, I don't want to taint you here and influence you. What would you say about Joe Sloan's game plan?
Yeah, I think the one word that I would use is inconsistent for the most part. The first half, there were some question marks there. But in the second half, he really started to dial up something that was unique. You started to see creativity within the offense, keeping the defense just absolutely confused, a ton of motion. So for me, the word that I would use is inconsistent, just because you started off a little bit sluggish. But after that, you really hit your stride and utilize a ton of creativity. I'd give him probably a B+, a B- ish, hovering around that range on that game. I think some people might want to kind of be a little ticked off is what I'll use for some of the play calling. But I think all in all, when you look at a full body of work, for me, look, I give him a B, a solid B. I don't think it was that bad.
And I'm with you on that because there are a few play calls I hated. I hated how conservative they got at the end. I hated the 3rd and 11 draw. There's a few things I really didn't like. That being said, you're looking at the trenches. LSU did not win the trenches, offensive line versus their defensive line. LSU lost that battle. It wasn't dominant. It wasn't like LSU Bama 2015 where there's just nothing you could do. But it also wasn't like LSU Bama 2015 where you got dominated in the trenches and your game plan was to try it again.
Well, that was my thing. Before you get into that, I think a lot of people are talking about the offensive line for LSU, as they should. They exceeded my expectations. I think all of us thought that they were going to get absolutely manhandled. Yes, they might have lost kind of the overall war, but there were battles that they won along the way. They did give up 8 tackles for loss in this one. That kind of was a notable piece for me.
Good stat. Good stat pull.
But nonetheless, one sack that you could kind of put on Garrett Nusmeier. I don't even think PFF put it as a sack on the offensive line. So, look, you might have lost the overall war in the trenches there, but there were so many battles that you won to me that really stuck out. Nonetheless, exceeded my expectations and really proud of that group considering how inexperienced they are.
Hey guys, if you're enjoying the show, hit the like button, as Cousin Trey says right here. Hit that like button. So let's dive into this. So I believe full-heartedly, if your offensive line can't get the job done, you have to get crafty. You have to get defensive linemen off those white knuckles, and you have to do things. You have to call screens. You have to get crafty. You have to get them guessing. You have to get misdirection going. And that's exactly what Joe Sloan dialed up. And in fact, if y'all remember the Matt Canada offense from a few years ago where they're moving linemen and all sorts of motion, and Lane Kiffin's asking Edo, hey, man, do you pay this guy per the motion? Like, what are you moving guys around for? The reason for that is you don't just move guys just to move guys. Like maybe against undisciplined linebackers who are poorly coached, that'll put them in a daze and confusion. SEC defenses, they're going to just like, okay, well, my assignment stays the same. All you did was move your tackle to the left side. Like they used motion to deceive. And what do I mean by that? Let's talk about this. Xavier Thomas took 2 reps at wide receiver where they moved him to a deep back. And of course, they had Caleb Jackson or Caden Durham then taking on, they're lined up next to Nusmeier, taking the lead blocker role. Both those plays really, I thought, worked well. They did a reverse pass where they called a jet sweep, reverse the pass. They throw it downfield. You want to talk about getting people off balance? How about a reverse pass? My God. Let's see here. They did a fake Nusmeier checking what the play is, ran to the line of scrimmage and did a 3rd and 1 quarterback sneak. Talk about getting them off their heels. I mean, look. You talk about doing a quarterback sneak. You got to make sure that if you're doing a quarterback sneak, you got to whoop that guy's ass in front of you, unless he's off guard like he was there. Let's see here. They did a lot of running back motions where they sent him out to the flats. Okay. And then boom, hit a bubble screen to the wide receiver right in front of him. So you get that linebacker biting on the motion guy, because if he's in motion, you have to match that motion to get with him. Well, now all of a sudden you got the linebacker with motion going this way. He has to stop his momentum and come back right to where he just left. Beautiful play call, man. They had guard pulling on pass blocking plays, basically giving the illusion that this is a run, and then the guard pulls left, makes a block, and then you're just running a tight end drag to Trey'Dez Green. Quads right with Trey'Dez Green lined up left for a jump ball. Beautiful design. Beautiful. 3 times they ran a bubble screen to Jawan Johnson where they just kept on giving him the look, and they're like, all right, you're going to keep on giving us that look. We're going to punish you. That forces the defense to call a different play to open up other things. They're going to say, if you're going to give us this look that we don't want to see, we're going to continue to just dominate. We're going to bully you. And that's insane to me. I mean, they had a tight end roll out to the left, which LSU's tight ends are a major focal point to stop. And then they do a shovel pass. It didn't really work, but they gave a shovel pass to Jawan Johnson right up the middle to kind of manufacture a running game. So, I mean, guys, all of these are superbly creative play calls from Joe Sloan. Very interesting. And I think if you're going to win a championship with this offensive line that cannot beat the best defensive lines in the country, at least not from what I've seen yet, that's the kind of play calls you need to roll with, man. I think after looking at that, I think your grade at A-B+ is spot on.
I just think
because it wasn't perfect.
There was creativity, and we saw a little bit of that during fall camp, and we saw it last year during fall camp, but it didn't come to fruition during the regular season. Now you look at what they've done in week 1 already, and you're starting to showcase Joe Sloan really go in his bag. Like that play with Xavier Thomas where he threw that ball. I mean, that had most people kind of jumping out of their seats. Like, what the hell are we looking at? We haven't seen any of this. This is exciting. And so for me, man, it was a overall give him around a B+. Inconsistent in the beginning, but man, he dialed up a fantastic game plan after halftime. And there's a reason why you went in and came from behind to get that win.
I mean, absolutely. And ultimately, that is what matters most is you got the win. You can nitpick whatever you want here or there. And, I think if I had to give him points off, the overall theme of it would be feel for the game. I thought he didn't have a great feel for the game. I think he had a great game plan and it executed. I think he got a little too cold turtle at moments where they should have been more, prepared to be aggressive. I don't like that they got really conservative on that final drive against Clemson. I know your defense is cooking like that. Guys, I've seen too many times where LSU's defense has been cooking and then they string together a game-winning drive on that excellent defense. Bama 2012, they dialed it in offensively. They said, we've got the lead. We're going to try to milk a little bit of time off, not turn the ball over, and we're going to go play defense. And guess what? TJ Yeldon busted your ass. So that's what I didn't like about that game plan. I think when you're up one score late in the game like that, go for the freaking jugular. Put the foot on their neck and bring the axe down. Because you know what's really, yes, if you take 2 minutes off the clock, that's very difficult. But ultimately, if you're playing offensive football and you get 2 first downs, you're going to, even with a couple incompletions mixed in, you're going to milk more time off the clock. And you know it's harder to come up with down 1 score with 2 minutes to play? Down 2 scores with 3 minutes to play. That's tougher to come back from. So I thought they should have gotten a little more aggressive. Let's go to our final ad break, and then we'll come back. We had a couple more talking points in. If y'all get some good questions, we'll sneak them in as well, okay? But I'm going to talk to y'all about our friends, Capital City Grill. One thing we try to do with all of our sponsors is partner with locally owned businesses that we've experienced firsthand, and we know we can endorse to provide an outstanding experience to our listeners. And guys, Capital City Grill fits perfectly in that lineup. Located on 100 Lafayette Street in downtown Baton Rouge, Capital City Grill is your ideal lunch and dinner stop for a casual dining experience. Capital City Grill features a variety of sandwiches, burgers, seafood, pastas, steaks, with almost everything priced at $30 or below for an affordable experience. Don't forget to celebrate a Tigers win at their Sunday morning brunch, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Book your reservation online tonight at capitalcitygrill.net. And make sure to let them know that TigerBait sent you in. And guys, we got to talk about my friends, Genesis of Lafayette, located there in Johnston Street, Lafayette. Guys, they're the premier luxury dealership offering the finest cars and SUVs in the region, coupled with the best service anywhere. Genesis of Lafayette has a huge inventory of new and certified pre-owned Genesis vehicles. For a truly first-class automotive experience, it's Genesis of Lafayette, 6600 Johnston Street. Here to exceed your expectations. Genesis of Lafayette. Shop us online at genesisoflafayette.com or call them at 877-856-2961. Let them know TigerBait sent you in. And guys, if you're suffering from low energy, low drive, Rejuvenate Medical offers testosterone therapy that helps you get back feeling strong, sharp, and confident. Kick fatigue to the curb at rejuvenatemedical.com.
I'm Dustin Goto. I received testosterone replacement therapy from Rejuvenate. My very first shot, the next morning I woke up, looked in the mirror, I could feel the difference in my body. Go for a consult. You may not know how bad you feel until you start feeling good.
And guys, Bay's Oyster Bar is the newest hot spot to get your oysters. They opened up this summer on 315 North Boulevard in downtown Baton Rouge. They're serving up the freshest farm-raised oysters from Grand Isle. No mud, no grit, just clean, delicious flavor. They've got East Coast, West Coast, and Gulf Coast oysters ready to roll, and they're ready to break down and tell you exactly what the difference is. I thought their knowledge was very refreshing, rejuvenating. When you went in, I am a raw oyster fan myself. If they're good, I hate going to a place and the oysters are made by some fry cook taking a break in between, whatever. No, they have a full-time designated oyster shucker back there, and these are going to be clean, good, fresh oysters, guys, whether you're doing them raw, char grilled, whatever it is. Go check them out. They also have boiled shrimp, or they've got their turkey brie po' boy. They've got a bacon sandwich. Anything you're looking for, they've got you handled. Classic roast beef po' boy. They will also be featuring a fully stocked bar, complete with top-notch bourbon, whiskey, and craft beer selection. Don't miss Baton Rouge's newest oyster spot, Bay's Oyster Bar. And of course, guys, as with all our sponsors, make sure to let them know TigerBait sent you in. And AP drop today. LSU comes in at number 3. Zach, thoughts on that?
I like it. I think you jumped the teams that you needed to jump. You got there. You made a statement in week 1. I think Ohio State is deserving of being number 1. You go out and you knock off the top team in the land. You're the defending champ. I think you're deserving of being number 1. Penn State is in the right spot 2. LSU right there at 3. I think it's money. I think you went out and made a statement. Georgia had a gimme game. Let Miami move up as well after taking down Notre Dame. I think the top 5 is pretty accurate, man. I can't sit back and complain too much.
Yep.
I loved what ESPN's Heather Dinich said. She had LSU as her number 1 team in the country. She has an AP vote. She said that she believes that they're the top team in the land. But nonetheless, I think number 3 is pretty spot on. You have an opportunity to continue to climb, of course. But, man, I love that spot. I think they're the number 3 team in the country right now.
Someone told me to click the ad to the right. There's no way it's a scam. And they're like, oh, more ads. Well, look, guys, it's just the Google ads that pop up as we read the list here. My thoughts are on early A people. It needs to be a combination of both what you have accomplished and what they believe you're capable of accomplishing. I think they did a pretty good job. I think obviously LSU and Ohio State are the most accomplished teams in the country right now. Not particularly close. I'm actually getting kind of nervous now. People talk about this Google ad thing over here. Sometimes sketchy stuff pops up on there. And are they going to like blame me and my algorithms if some sketch pops up? We'll see. Anyways, so LSU at number 3, certainly deserving of being in the top 3. Penn State, okay, I get it. There's more people thought Penn State was the better team. That's fine. LSU does get 3 first place votes.
Pull up that last comment from Tiger Mark. I love that. You're spot on. You're spot on. She was sitting there writing. And that's what Brian Kelly was talking about today a lot, by the way, is that you had so many people and so many narratives being pushed about just people writing off this team before the season even started, specifically that first game. And now you got people coming back and just riding with this team like crazy. So, yeah, Tiger Mark, you're spot on. I mean, she's exact. She was coming back to kind of piggyback or kind of backtrack is the word that I'm trying to use there.
Yeah, that was Heather Dinich you're talking about. And look, it's not just Heather Dinich. There's a lot of people nationally saying LSU is the best team in the country. By the way, of the 3 first place votes, Baton Rouge's own, the advocate Koki Riley was one of the guys who put LSU number 1. So kudos to Koki because a lot of times the local guys are really afraid to give the team they cover that bump. They don't want to come off as biased. So ultimately, I would say as a fan, if you're looking for the polls to somehow help LSU win football games, it's actually a pretty good thing that you give them something left to work for, right? Obviously, in your top 3, the target on your back, they might be a little bit more motivated to beat number 1 versus number 3, but you're going to have a massive target. What it really is it gives the team something to work for, something they feel motivated for. I do contend that LSU is the most accomplished team in the country, more accomplished than Ohio State, because I ultimately think that was more about Texas being bad and Arch Manning not being able to hit consistently hit 5-yard open receivers when the game was on the line. Whereas I think Clemson played a much better football game than Texas played. That wasn't like there's wide open receivers that Cade Klubnik just missed, just hit their feet like it was with Texas. I would contend that Clemson could beat Texas, but maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. Let's see here. Let's see. Did I have any? Oh, of course, we got to give a huge shout out to the Las Vegas Heisman frontrunner. Did that catch you off guard? It's not like Nusmeier played this fantastic game. He was 28 of 38, 204 yards. I'm guessing. I don't have it pulled up in front of me. 1 touchdown, 0 picks. Was it 220?
I think it was a little bit more than that, but nonetheless,
it was
regardless. It wasn't this 300+ yard game. So
he got robbed of his best pass, just so we're clear. It should have been, if it was 220, it should have been 245, okay, with 2 touchdowns. But anyways, not a super impressive game, but he now finds himself sitting as the Heisman frontrunner. I mean, is that deserved, and is that something we're going to have to watch all season long? Does Garrett Nusmeier have a legitimate shot to go 12 games or 13 games and win this Heisman Trophy?
I think so. I mean, when you look at what he did in the fourth quarter, I mean, I think he only had one incompletion. I think he completed like 8 or 9 passes in a row in the fourth quarter alone. I mean, he was sensational down the stretch. And I think that's what you kind of are looking for in your Heisman. You want a guy who comes up in the clutch, can kind of put the team on his back when needed, and really lead his team to a big-time win on the road in week 1 when your back's against the wall. So when you look at it, I mean, it's early in the year. I don't think you can buy too much stock in week 1, week 2 Heisman frontrunners because you could have a guy from Grand Valley State put on 20 touchdowns and somehow be in the conversation. So for me, I think Nusmeier's deserving of being number 1 right now. Every book that I've looked at, he's number 1. I mean, it's pretty much kind of unanimous.
And comfortably, right? Comfortably?
Yeah, pretty comfortably as well. So he's deserving in my eyes right now of being there. Just got to stay consistent. And if he can do that, he'll find himself in New York being a finalist and kind of trying to keep that streak going of second-year quarterbacks in the LSU system.
I think as long as they keep on winning games, he will find himself in New York. Okay, even if he doesn't put up as good a season last year, which part of me thinks that they're actually going to throw for less yards than they did last year. Because
that wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I think you want a more balanced attack. I think that'd be just fine.
Look at how they're doing the passing game this year. Now that was Clemson. Do you know what his average time to throw was?
I think it was 2.1, 2.2 seconds.
2.12 seconds. 2.12. Yep, that's exactly right. That's incredibly low. Now, the gold standard for an offensive line is 4 seconds. You want to give your quarterback 4 seconds. Beyond 4 seconds, that's on you, partner. You done jacked up, Leroy, if you're back there for more than 4 seconds. That's what
Preston,
we
that's what you and I were talking about last week before they started that game, was that if Garrett Nusmeier gets the ball out of his hands quick, your offense is going to be in a pretty good spot to where your O-line isn't necessarily being put on their heels and having pressure on them. So I think you got to give kind of credit to Joe Sloan and the rest of the staff for really sticking to their game plan and putting the players in position to be successful.
Yeah, I do give him credit for that because they adjusted their game plan to, and I think there's a lot of coaches that would have come in and said, we're going to try to impose our will. And they would have gotten their face smashed in. Instead, LSU came up with a creative game plan to adjust for their weaknesses. Part of football is recognizing your weaknesses and coaching to that weakness. So, again, I give them a lot of credit for that. In terms of Nusmeier, I do think that the Heisman winner is probably going to be someone who comes out of nowhere this year. I really do believe that. I think this is a year where it's like, is Drew Aller really the guy who couldn't complete a pass to a receiver against Notre Dame? Really? Is that the guy? Is Carson Beck going to come back from the grave? Although he did, CJ Daniels made him look pretty good. It looks like he could finally catch something other than a bag for once. But, Arch Manning, I don't want to insult guys here, but this just has the makings of someone coming out of nowhere and shocking us, like Joe Burrow did. Or really, to a lesser extent, Jaden Daniels, even though he was second, preseason, he did take a major step up and played much better than anybody would have accounted for. I think he was second with the expectation that he would be the quarterback of a very good football team, and he wasn't. He was the quarterback of a bad football team, and he was just that incredible. So, anyways, guys, if y'all haven't done it already, buckle in. We got a special season. Zack and I are going to be here every Monday at 8 p.m. Sans a few holidays here or there. If I have a baby, I might not, be here. But we'll be here every Monday at 8 p.m. So y'all make sure to subscribe to the channel to keep the notifications going. You can hit the bell to get all live show notifications. We don't do all that many, so it's fine. We do about 3 a week. So Mike and Buddy will be back here tomorrow at 6 p.m. as their normal slot goes every Wednesday at 6 p.m. And then we'll do our post-game show. We did our post-game show immediately after the game ended last time. I believe this week we're going to be in the press box, so it's going to go back to about 90 minutes or so after the game ends. We're going to have to, leave and go drive home and all that jazz, but that's okay because it gives you a late night show option. So y'all make sure to follow that. Like the show if you enjoyed it. Share it to all your social media pages. We enjoy your support. Our YouTube channel is closely closing in on 40,000 subscribers. I believe it's one of the biggest LSU channels out there, so appreciate all y'all support. Our Facebook page continues to grow as well, where I think we're at 111 Facebook followers. So if you're watching the show on Facebook, don't forget to subscribe to the show. And of course, Zack, tell them where you can keep up with all your content and what you've got going on right now.
Yeah, man. For me, personal page on Twitter or X, whichever one you want to call it, @ZNagy20. It's right there on the screen. LSU Tigers SI on Twitter or X as well. If you're not on socials, man, just go into your search engine, put in LSU SI. If you find anything you need purple and gold related, we've got it on the site.
All right. Appreciate y'all, guys. Hey, guys, we'll see y'all next week. Y'all make sure to subscribe. We'll see you then. Thank you.